Yeah, I'm for the last 3 4 days. I'm down with fever, bad cough, sore throat, and all that. Just today, I'm somehow been able to stand and share some time with you. First and foremost, a very warm welcome to you on behalf of all the trees, all the birds, all the butterflies, bees, insects, all the life forms of this forest farm, Sumana Sangam. The name of our farm, the forest farm, is Sumana Sangama. Sangama, in practically all languages of India, means confluence, coming together. Sumana has two meanings. One is Sumana means flower. So the idea is to bring all the flowers, all the biodiversity together in one place. So that is the meaning of Sumana Sangama. The other meaning of Sumana is Sumana, good minds. So all the good minds should confluence here. Like you all have come here today. So Sumana Sangama means all the biodiversity coming together in one place, all the good minds who want to do something good, something creative, something pro-life should confluence here, should brainstorm, should share their ideas, should share their experiences. All kinds of good activities should start from here. That's the idea. We purchased this land, 17 acres. That was in 96, 97. At that time, this 17 acres of land was absolutely barren. There wasn't a single tree over here. If you were to stand here, you would see the train passing at a very long distance from here. There wasn't a single tree. This was totally barren. And over the last 16, 17 years, what we have done is only maybe 25% of the work. We have planted lots of trees, and the rest of it has been done by Mother Nature. Birds have brought a lot of plants in the form of bringing seeds and all that. So now we have what we can confidently call a forest farm. Without knowing anything about what permaculture meant or natural farming meant, then it was sheer gut feeling that we went by. Two major convictions were to have as much diversity as possible. As much diversity as possible, one. And the second one was to be as eco-friendly as possible in all our operations. No chemical fertilizers, no pesticides. That was the ground rule. So we went along, and as you will be able to see in the portion which is at the maximum height, this land slopes downwards like this. Here we have planted all kinds of forest trees like this one, and all these are forest trees, or what are called as timber trees essentially. Down below we have in the middle portion horticulture portion, all kinds of fruit trees, and then next we have some area earmarked for cultivation like banana, paddy, sugarcane and all that. This year has been the worst possible year for us. We have had no rains at all. People as senior as 75 years of age have been telling that in their lifespan they have not seen a dry year like this. That's one thing. And secondly, this season itself, December and Jan is a very, very dry season. All the trees would have shed their leaves. So you have come, in one way you have come at the very wrong time to our farm. If you were to come here after a good rainy season, maybe in the month of October or November, you would have seen this place in its full glory, in its full greenery. So now itself I take the opportunity of inviting all of you again in the month of October. Hmm? When I say biodiversity, as we all know, 2015, which is just ended, has been declared as the hottest year on record. Hottest year that is recorded ever since the scientists started keeping the temperature records of the globe. Hottest year has been 2015. Not just that, the last 5 years have been the hottest 5 years in the recorded history. Our entire planet is getting warmer and warmer by the year, and entirely due to anthropogenic causes, human made causes. It's not because of some meteorite which is coming closer to the earth, or it's not because of some volcano erupting somewhere and spewing a lot of lava or anything like that. It's entirely because of our activities, human beings. Human beings have been on this globe for just about 3 million years. That's about 30 lakh years or so. Whereas this earth came into existence about 4.5 billion years ago, and trees have evolved about 3 billion years ago. That way, we human beings are a very, very new species. And even in this span, for a very, very long time, human beings had lived in harmony with nature for a long time. Only in the last, say, 5,000 years, and especially in the last 500 years, ever since the Industrial Revolution, that was about 300 years ago, that this whole process of deforestation, degeneration of the environment, pollution, all these have gathered a lot of speed and eventually resulted in what we now call as global warming and climate crisis. We all know about the recent Paris summit and all that is happening all over the world. Various measures that the scientists are thinking. One of the easiest ways to bring back the temperature to the pre-industrial revolution levels is to plant trees, which we have ascertained for ourselves. The temperature that we record in the main road, the tar road that we come, and as you enter the farm here, there is a drop of 5 degrees centigrade Celsius. Consistently. On an average, there is a 5 degrees Celsius temperature drop. All because we have been able to plant lots and lots of trees. When I say trees not planted only with a commercial angle in mind. Okay, we have fruit trees which give us many kinds of fruits, which is for our consumption, that's fine. But these timber trees, they also help us in many, many ways. One question which has been asked many times to us is, what's the use of having a farm like this? This is not a conventional farm. A conventional farm, as you might have seen elsewhere, are rows and rows of mango trees or rows and rows of chiku trees or sugarcane cultivation, paddy cultivation, etc. But here, from the very beginning, our conviction was to have as much biodiversity as possible and to give Mother Nature a chance to do her wonders. And over the years, we have been seeing those wonders. These trees shed so much of biomass, which in turn fertilize our soil. The fertility of the soil is increasing year on year. So now it's become a very self-regulated, self-managed, self-sustained farm. We don't have to bring any input from outside. We don't bring fertilizers, we don't bring any other input from outside. Maybe Sometimes we get organic seeds from our friends and relatives. But rest of the things, this is over the years becoming now a very self-sustained unit. And at least as far as India is concerned, okay, before that I should tell something about myself. I practiced as a gynecologist for 25 years. Yeah, we have a hospital in Dharwad. From the very beginning, I was very clear in my mind that there are other priorities also in life, not just medical practice. And being a gynecologist, being an obstetrician means it's a commitment 24 by 7. Once you are committed, then you have to be there on the spot as and when you are called. But then I had other interests also. I was interested in education, I was interested in environmental issues, I was interested in literature and poetry. So from the very beginning, it was clear to me that I'm not going to have a hospital of my own and manage it for all the 24 hours, 7 days a week and all that. I had a friend of mine, a classmate of mine who joined me. We started it as a joint practice and then went on to have 5 gynecologists as a team. Even now, the hospital that is there, I have come out, but the hospital is working very well with 5 gynecologists. For 25 years, I practiced gynecology, had whole lot of work. Fortunately, a very good reputation, very good name, and very challenging work also. At the same time, way back in 1996, we also started a small school called Bala Balaga in Dharwad. Uh, um, that started in the front room of our house, a very small room. It started as a nursery for just 3 kids, and now it's a well developed school with its own a very child friendly and eco friendly campus full of greenery. Now it's just adjacent to Karnataka University campus. You are most welcome to come and have a look at our school and also have some fun time with our children sometime. So over the years, it so happened that school on one side, the hospital work on the other side, and the farm that was developing here, I was finding it extremely difficult to manage time. So I had to take a call. For 3 years, I struggled as to which one to drop. In one way, the hospital was a very smooth sailing ship with 5 gynecologists and lots of work. So, though I have always loved obstetrics and gynecology, especially childbirth. Even after you have conducted 10,000 deliveries, the next one is equally challenging and equally satisfying. Yes, that continues to be so, but then I had to take a decision for myself. I said, because it's a smooth sailing ship, I can drop that. The real challenge lies here: regenerating the soil, creating all this biodiversity, innovating the space in many different ways, and making opportunities at this place for many other activities. That's why 2 years back I stopped my practice and now I am a full-time organic farmer. So I am no more Dr. Sanjeev Kulkarni. I'm just Sanjeev Kulkarni. So here, as somebody just on when they were coming here, they observed farming doesn't mean only drudgery. Farming doesn't mean only hard work under harsh sun, or you are just exposed to elements, rains and winds and all that. Farming can also be great fun. Farming can be so many things. Farming can include swimming, water sports, meditation, bird watching, bee watching, butterfly watching, beekeeping, so many activities. In many ways, you can be very creative and add to the goodness of the entire nature. And over the years, many things are happening here. We We get children here for various kinds of workshops and camps. Many times journalists come over here, women's organizations, they come and hold their activities here. So that way, farm is not just, growing some cash crop. It can be, and it has always been, many, many things. The small cellar-like thing over there, which was once a defunct gobar gas plant, we have now converted that into a meditation cave. Any one of you interested can just have a look, enter inside, enjoy the peace and the silence over there. Similarly, we'll take a tour. We'll see many different kinds of trees, forest trees, fruit trees. We have in Kannada or in Indian languages we call Ramfal, Sitafal, Lakshmanfal and Hanumanfal. We have jackfruit, star fruit, butterfruit, egg fruit. We have guava, some 15 varieties of mangoes, chickus, coconuts, all kinds of things. But again, I'm only sorry that this is not the right season. You have the mangoes flowering right now. They have flowered in a very big way. And there is no end to the wonders of nature. This year, one tree suddenly has made mangoes right now itself. So you will be able to enjoy mango juice today. Not the ripe mangoes, unripe mangoes will make juice for you in the afternoon. Yeah. See, mangoes should generally come in the month of May. I don't know whether it's because of the climate change that is taking place. This year, all the seasonal changes we are observing 2 months in advance, 3 months in advance. For example, there's a tree called flame of the forest. Flame of the forest. That tree, when the entire nature is totally barren, the first tree to flower is that flame of the forest, which comes out with beautiful orange flowers. And that tree, which should flower in the month of March, has already started flowering now. The jackfruit, which should come in the month of May and June, they have started coming now. So all these changes, there's a lot of, upset. There's a lot of imbalance. There's a lot of back and forth that is happening in nature. So this is an effort in creating a place, creating a space with lots of biodiversity, essentially trying to understand what nature means and how we can live in harmony with nature, how we can reduce our carbon footprint, how we can have a lifestyle which is something like a butterfly without leaving any footprints. You live as lightly as possible. You live as happily as possible. And it is possible. It is possible. Unfortunately, the Indian scenario is extremely bad. 75% of the farmers don't want their children to continue in farming. 75% of the children of the farmers don't want to continue farming as a career. So the next couple of decades are going to be extremely difficult. Extremely difficult. Only if the learned portions of the society, sections of the society, make that shift, come back to nature, come back to land, connect themselves to land. Only then we will have some hope. Otherwise, it's the big corporates which will take over everything. And whatever we have been able to, whatever in the name of culture, whatever in the name of knowledge over the last 10,000 years, or maybe more, in India or elsewhere, all that will get wiped out. Now is the time for all of us to get connected to the land, to nature. And nature itself is a very big healer too. Whatever lifestyle diseases that we are having now, whether it is diabetes or hypertension or a whole lot of diseases that are now listed in the name of lifestyle diseases, the answer lies in coming back to nature, putting in some amount of physical labor every day on a day to day basis, and also pursuing your own intellectual careers. Now, how can we design a lifestyle of that kind? Physical labor, enough physical labor, as well as your own career in with mental faculties, something of that kind. That's the challenge. That's the real challenge, and that's where we have to have lots of innovations, lots and lots of innovations. So, how can you all be a part of this venture? How can you all be a part of this venture? First and foremost, wherever you are, I got to know that there are many friends who have come from China, many who have come from the US, and there are some friends from Hubli and maybe other parts of the country. So wherever you are, weekend farming is one big option. Wherever you are, please get connected with your local farmers. Try to go there on your weekends, on your holidays. That shift is not going to be easy. From spending your time in air conditioned rooms, getting out into the hard sun, trying to put in some physical labor, it's not going to be easy in the beginning, but in the long run it's going to be great fun. So weekend farming is one. Second thing is responsible tourism. That's a very new concept. Responsible tourism means, now suppose somebody is driving from Bangalore to Goa and they want to break their journey in Hubli for a day or two. Instead of staying over in a hotel and increasing their carbon footprint, if they have a farm like this, they can come over here, stay for a day or two, relax, put in some work, enjoy the greenery, enjoy the farm, and then continue with their journey with their carbon footprint as less as possible. Responsible tourism is another thing. Third thing is memory park. Any family member who has departed, who has passed away, in their name, you can arrange to get a sapling planted in some farm. You have to contribute just 500 rupees in the first instance, that's all. Rest of the things will be managed by the farm, and all you have to do is, whenever possible, maybe once in a year, once in 2 years, you come back and see that the plant is growing well. In the memory of the dear departed, you can see to it that a sapling is planted somewhere, thereby increase the biodiversity. Having workshops and get-togethers on the farm. It's very convenient for us to have our workshops and get-togethers in the cities. Everything is arranged and given over there in a hall or somewhere like that. But then if you take little pains, if you are ready to adjust to a little bit of hardship, you can have the same workshop over here on the farm. Not just this farm, any farm that is close by. So that way you can start connecting yourself back to the land. In the US, linguists have shown that over the last 50 years, the word soil got converted into dirt. You know what that means? Soil is no more called soil, it's now called dirt. See the shift, see that paradigm shift in our outlook, how we are viewing that thing which has given us life. Now we have to change that all over again. We have to understand the significance of soil in our own lives. It's not only in the US. In our own country, in metropolitan cities, we now have a generation which is growing up, which does not touch soil. Children don't touch soil even with their feet for months together, let alone touching soil with your hands. Now that is the real danger. We are going farther and farther away from nature. The real responsibility of the educated community lies in bringing back ourselves to Mother Nature. And here is one such effort. This is not perfect. We don't have any illusion that we have achieved everything over here. This is just a process. This is just a song of which some lines have been sung so far, and so many lines have to be added in the future. So actually, whenever an opportunity arises, whenever people say that, okay, we want to come to the farm, I always make it a point that the group should not exceed more than 30. Because when the number exceeds 25 or 30, then the communication, the interaction is not that very effective. But when my friend Abhi said, we're going to get a group of 60, I did tell him that it may not be very okay, because so many people, you want to show some tree, the first person will be able to see and understand what I am telling, but the last person will be somewhere over there, which will not be very useful. But then he insisted that yes, we are going to have a group of 60, and yesterday he tells me that it's going to be a group of 80. I said, okay, if he has thrown a challenge at us, now we must be ready to take that challenge, and we have taken that challenge. Huh? So we have taken the challenge. As again I said, an year without rains, driest of the seasons, you're going to have some sun during the day, and a large group. I hope you will manage and you will enjoy. We will try to see that you are made comfortable. We'll make smaller groups so that we can go on a tour. I'll try to show you as much as possible. You are free to ask questions now or later, as is the schedule that is planned. Absolutely no problems. Later on, I sincerely wish that we will continue to be friends. This is not just one-off event that you come to a farm, see the farm, and then forget the whole experience. That is not how it should be. One of the greatest things that this farm has given me, ultimately, what is richness? Richness is not to be measured only in terms of money. Ultimate richness is how many friends you have. So that way, I must thank Abhi and his team for giving me 80 new friends today. So I'm a very, very rich person today.